looks like we are, so we can hop into the game here between ATK and BHOP and get ready to rock as this one is getting right into it. ATK on the CT side, BHOP on the T side. Fady takes a tap down middle. Mistim has a nade, a smoke, and I don't see a defuse kit for ATK, which is very bizarre. They've raid bossed Swisher. Sorry, I'm thinking of Switcher on Davenport.
Yes.
Swisher with the dual Berettas. So you don't normally see the dually player with the raid boss. I do like this a lot, though.
Oh, Brett has caught Fady. They got in on a flank. Fady didn't realize they got him behind him from window, and now that's an opening for BHOP into A as Brett finds himself a second. Bowden dropped, and BHOP have all the space in the world to work with here. MOTM does come back and get one. No bomb plant just yet because the bomb was all the way towards T-spawn. They're trying to rotate in, but it looks like Mistim will be able to regain the space with MOTM. If they get another frag here, and even at the numbers, this could come down to the wire.
And they do know something's around pit. I think Mist, he's going to get blindsided by Eris. Loses track of the player in pit, and that's going to really open up the site for BHOP. Bomb's going to go down. Swisher's making his way up through brackets now. Now has to clear out Boiler, where Swan's ready with a P250. Dual Beretta versus P250. Upgrade versus upgrade. It's the dualies for a clean hedge on a second on the Silas. Swisher running around with the turbo. Goes to a Glock now. Beaky trying to take down MOTM as they're going to try and pinch it onto the site. Eris and Beaky, though, land the headshots with the USPs. And BHOP will claim the pistol around the bomb plant was already good. Everything else was icing on the cake. And ATK going right into a force. Swisher has a FAMAS and no armor, and that will not be in his hands. Good, he gets rid of that. Do not play the FAMAS with no armor, Swisher. Don't do that to us.
Yeah, definitely not. And, I mean, looking at the pistol win percentage, it's actually favoring ATK on this map. When they play it, they win 58% of their pistols, and BHOP only win 46%. But that time, well, I guess just goes to show that pistol round technically can just be 50-50 down the middle, as BHOP are going to come through here with 3 Galils, the AK, and the MAC-10. ATK forcing up, as you alluded to, Austin, and Swan is going to take care of Swisher and Bowden in one fell swoop. That leaves only Mistim, MOTM, and Fady to fend for themselves. Not only that, but Fady's alone here towards the A site. Likely going to get reinforcements from Mistim, but that's a good Molotov thrown into Boiler that forces Fady out of position. Might have given the audio cue. I think Swan could have heard them, Austin.
He might have. It looks like they're ready to throw more utility up, but Fady's going to be killed one way or another. There's players coming all around him. There's fires running around him. He actually does get one. Can't take out the low HP Silas, so only one kill for Fady. Missed him with the FAMAS, though, has an opportunity. Sprays down one, but only one. Just a paltry amount onto Brett. 25 HP gone. And MOTM with the Deagle in hand will try his hand at the 1v3. Does not have the timing to get the drop onto Beaky, and he might actually just save, which would be a really good idea considering he could take the Deagle armor and smoke into the next round and try again one more time. Let's see what he wants to do. That seems to be the case here. No kit, no real chance at the defuse, no real chance at a 1v3 B-site or A-site retake either. But look at Beaky's position now, pushing all the way through T apartments. Ian's going back towards B, but there's every angle covered right now for BHOP. Brett's got the cross back behind the well. And MOTM creeping forward has grabbed... What did he grab anything? I thought I heard a grab sound, but
maybe
I don't
a
see
smoke.
anything. Thought he already had that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Well, either way, pretty clean win for BHOP. Kind of as expected, ATK took the risk there, double stacking towards mid, and we're hoping for at least a trade to come through, but Swan took care of both players, and after that, ATK didn't really have much else to work with. One reason why I would personally favor the MP9 here as opposed to FAMAS is what you saw. Mistim was playing that close angle towards bracket, and if you're going to be that close, you're better off with the MP9 because it has a faster fire rate and can do a ton of damage at that range and probably get 1, perhaps 2 frags. Instead, he only gets 1, and then the FAMAS just doesn't deliver afterwards. So either way, ATK are going to be on an eco round here. Don't have time to think about what could have been, as they'll be moving forward here up against a BHOP buy-up that should be able to take them down pretty easily. 2 AKs, 2 Galils, and the MAC-10. Fady looking for a 1-dig. You never know what these Deagles can do. Maybe he can pop around mid and find a head. A lot of time left on the clock here for BHOP to work with, and they're using quite a bit here in the early goings.
Yeah, Swan's going to creep up forward. Has to be careful not to get popped by the Deagle. He is the entry of the MAC-10, and he'll take the crouch swing. Goes right under the crosshair, and the MAC-10 fire rate will demolish Fady. There's a good start for BHOP as they're looking to grab their third to start off this T-half of their own map pick. MOTM mowed down very low to 16 HP. Won't take any real shots down range either, just stuck in that smoke. And A-side's going to be the target for BHOP. Missed him with the USP this time, not the FAMAS. Is there really that much? What? Yeah, the USP's better. The USP was better.
You got to be kidding me.
This is winnable for MOTM now.
Absolutely. I mean, look, 16 HP. He has a gun. It's a Galil. He's going to have to make quick work of this if he should hope to find the round. The thing is, he doesn't have a kit, Austin. I don't believe there's one on the ground, right? Because they only have the pistols coming in, so... I don't know. Probably going to be a BHOP round victory, but still, 3 frags come through with just the USPs doing all of that damage. And that's going to make it an expensive round for BHOP at the very least. But MOTM trying to make it even more expensive. I think that's his #1 objective here. He could catch one player crossing over, and he does. That's Eris down, but there's no time. Can't get the defusal. Just trying to keep Silas on the site long enough to perhaps go down, but Silas will survive. So great job by ATK doing the damage with a very, very limited buy-up, and they get a rifle out of the round on top of making it really expensive for BHOP.
Yeah, they get a free M4 that can toss that over to somebody, or MOTM could just hold on to it in his own right. The op's going to come out for Swan, though. He'll take his trials with it on the T side of Inferno. We'll see how much they want to really force the op into his hands, too, as we move down the line, because T-side Inferno isn't necessarily the most op-friendly place to be in Counter-Strike. But it is a full buy-up for ATK. They have the op for Bodenmaster, and that is the player you really want to highlight, is Boden with the big green, or in this case, the Souvenir Desert Hydra that he boxed, which...
That was crazy.
I can't believe he did that, but...
Oh, well, the odds are incredibly low. But anyway, Silas is going to get the opener here towards Banana. MOTM dropped. Lots of damage done at the very least by MOTM. I believe missed him as well, but they need to reinforce this B site, and the reinforcements are coming through. That's Boden with the big green.
Yep. He's the right player to shut this down. That aggression Banana has not panned out well yet for ATK. MOTM has taken a lot of damage, and now his life's been removed from him the last 2 rounds. Boden, though, with that Molotov burning away, scoping through, going to try and pick somebody off as they come across, preemptively dodging a flash that may or may not come. Now we'll creep forward onto the side a little more. On the stairs, in comes more utility, but he should be fine for the first entry unless a flash comes over. And Brett seems content to try this. He's pulled out a piece of utility as the smoke and bonus the shot goes back for a second and can't connect that either. Uncharacteristic misses from the big hopper, and Beaky's just been teammated and burned, and they're all burning alive with their own fire and flames. The mowdown's here for Mistum. He's picked up a third. It's all down to Swan, and what looked so good for BHOP. They had the openings, the double entry, and then a team nade, the molly, and missed him in the back of sight.
That was an absolute blunder by BHOP. Oh my goodness, the momentum swinging their way against a team that they need to pick up every single round they can get here on their T side, because you give ATK a window of opportunity, they will pounce all over it. That said, Swan is able to get back to the A site and find this plant. How much more we'll be able to do is another question. I'm just so shocked by how that went down. Beaky, a missed nade, and then stumbles in the Molotov. Perhaps some nervousness coming through here. Great job. I missed him to rack up the 3K. And now Swan's holding an aggressive angle towards Arch. He does get the opener. Going to try and back off here. That's exactly what he needed to do. And he tucks himself in the boiler. Smoke available here for ATK, which could be his undoing. And in fact, it's just the A1S bullets that take him down to the ground. That will be the round. ATK pick up a first. At least damage done here to ATK by BHOP. But for all intents and purposes, Austin, BHOP had the edge until everything went wrong on Banana.
BHOP had the edge until that molly.
Yep.
And really the nade started. Yeah. Then the nade came through. Missed him, robbed of an ace by one of the BHOP players. I believe that was Beaky's nade.
Yes, it was Beaky.
Took out Brett.
Yeah.
What a performance from the in-game leader of ATK, too. Gets all 4 available kills at his hand and stalls out the B push really well. Takes advantage of the opportunity given to him. So a good start for the ATK side once the guns come out. And we look how costly that round 3 was. Deagle and MAC-10 rather, and 2 Galils. below average amount of utility for BHOP.
Yeah.
But when you look at the firepower, it's pretty sad considering they had a 3-0 start.
Yeah. ATK making those last couple of rounds expensive. Now Brett's going to try and find some space from the apartments, but there are two players waiting here. One Swisher right on the railing on balcony. And then he's got reinforcement from Pit. It should be an easy frag, but it's not. Swisher goes down. Luckily for him, Fady delivers on a 2K. And no fuss, no muss for him. And Beaky doesn't even check Pit. Okay, just jumps down to his death. Bowden will take down Silas, and it's all up to Swan, who will eventually get taken down and is by Fady. That'll be that. ATK make it look easy on the second round that they get.
Easy peasy for ATK, and now it should be even easier as they'll be up against pretty much Glocks, and only Glocks, maybe a P250, a Tech 9, a Deagle, a Flash or two picked up for BHOP, but this is going to be a very low investment round from the T side. A massive opportunity for ATK to build up some bank on the CT side. Swisher has that MP9, and he'll be going kill hunting with that. Yeah, Glocks, 2 flashes, 2 Anders flashes, that's it for BHOP, and this is a prime window for ATK to build up some economy. Swisher's going to see him on the apartments. The nade's going to be there for Fady. He'll spray down a pair. Has a lot of damage onto a third. Grabs the third as well from the smoke. Swisher spots an elbow through the smoke, and Brett has fallen. Bowden to the USP. Has to be very careful here. He is taking a lot of damage from Swan, who runs out of ammunition, and they're both playing a game of how long can we both shoot at each other without killing each other. Swisher will deny that one going on any longer, and we're at a 0-0 scoreline. We're at a tie ball game here, John, and this is the first time BHOP are going to be able to get their full guns in their hands again.
Yeah, BHOP finally able to get the rifles up, but ATK have jumped right into the action here after starting off 0-3. 3 rounds in a row for them. They're looking to make it 4, and Swisher's still on the MP9, looking to farm himself a little bit more money in this round. They have an AK as well, 2 A1Ss, and the AWP. BHOP just settling for the rifles. Big push coming through here. Swisher could go down early, and he doesn't. He jumps up in the air, gets one, missed him, gets a second through the smoke, and everything's falling apart here in the early goings for BHOP. Luckily, Brett connects on the Swisher, but then Fady pushes into the apartments and finds Eris. Oh my goodness, ATK are just all over BHOP, not giving them much breathing room, and now it's all up to Swan and Brett.
It's down to 2, and one's below half HP. Swan holding bottom banana with the bomb at his disposal. MOTM still holding a bit aggressive towards top car, going for some jump spots over half wall. But Brett's potential pincer in towards B is where this whole round rests for BHOP. If Brett can get in behind, then he opens up the round. Fady has not checked his 6. He's still watching towards brackets. Brett in towards CT spawn. Swan still buying time as well, and now Mistum is moving forward towards banana, towards car. Brett and MOTM are going to run in from behind. Brett sprays away, but now Mistum he is up on top of second oranges. That's a big pickup, and now Swan has to 1v3. This rotation of Fady is here. Bowden's keeping an eye on the A rotation this time. Not going to be fooled again. Swan knows there's something around the pillar, around the fountain rather, and he's going to spray down Mistum. Goes for the plant, which would secure a little extra money, but Fady's going to get him in the interim. And as the bomb goes down, so does Swan. And ATK will grab a 4th. The only problem being they lose quite a bit of players here. That's going to cost them quite a bit. Their economy's starting to get really strong, so it won't let them really explode economically speaking. But the bomb plant won't get BHOP full AKs unless they want to sacrifice the utility again. They're going to have a couple of Galils at bare minimum.
Yeah, expensive round for ATK, like you said there, Austin, but BHOP, they're going to call a timeout. They want to talk things over here. Their economy is not in an ideal position. Yes, you can get the AKs and get a decent chunk of utility, maybe have to settle for a Galil to get said utility, but they could also go for a half buy here and then get a full-on proper buy up in the following round. And half buys certainly are viable on T side of Inferno. You can just get some Tech 9s. You have quite a few options, right? You can either push right up into bracket and try to pincer in towards the B site, maybe position 2 players at the bottom of banana, send 3 to try and take Arch by themselves, a Tech 9 headshot here and there, and all of a sudden you've got the space and the advantage against CTs. Or you can just send all 5 down banana, the typical Tech 9 rush strat, which, I mean, it works. So why not give it a shot? And I think that is what they're going to do. Maybe not the Tech 9 strat, but it will be a half buy coming through.
Well, there's half a Tech 9 strat, half a deco, and a P250 thrown in for good measure. So, they didn't want to break the tie. Molotov goes, but Silas is able to get out in front of it. There is some alt mid possession from Eris as well. The nade, though, will just do a little bit of chip damage. Missed him so far down Banana, though. He has to be very careful. And Fade's going to burn alive. You cannot be going down for free against the pistols here if you are ATK. You cannot be giving BHOP these opportunities. And as they are starting to push in towards B, that nade's going to do a lot to soften him up. But MOTM and Mistim are still in a very dangerous position. They're playing a very dangerous game, and that's just why we're at an even 3v3. And that gives the pistols so much more room to work. Look at Eris out of balcony. He's going to get Swisher from behind. Swisher can't turn around. He gets domed. And that's going to open up the A side. Bowden now stuck in flux and rotation. Stuck in a very dangerous predicament. Does not know where he's going to get killed from. And Eris has opened up A and opened up the round for BHOP. All they have to do now is shut down Mistim, and they've done it. They've won the half buy.
Oh, Brett's got it. Easy peasy. No question. There it is. Wow. Look, ATK, like you said, Austin, kind of handing it to them. Bit of a sloppy play in the early goings. Maybe overconfidence coming into play there. But dying in the Molotov, and then BHOP come through and continue to deliver on the frags and find the trades, and afterwards gain the edge going towards that B site. So, honestly, geez, ATK should have been more careful. BHOP steal one away from them on the pistol buy-up, and there you go. Perfect example of why you don't always have to overinvest and put yourself in a bad position economically, because the half buy comes through, it works, and now you get a full-on buy-up. Thing is, you got to be careful for the pushes. ATK, the aggression works this time. They get one, but only one. Great trade comes through, and then the second from Silas. He's going to drop both Mistim and MOTM, and now Eris finds Bowden getting a little over-aggressive down mid. Thing is, crazy action happening at this point. Trades back and forth, and we are sitting at a 3v2 in favor of BHOP as they've taken this B site. Swisher prowling his way in towards B now, right behind this smoke.
He knows there's one in dark. The flash won't blind him. The spray comes in and it connects. Swisher on the A1S, actually. He's usually a staunch A4 user, so it's a surprise to see him on the silenced version of the M4 into this 2v2. The nade will go forward, but both remaining BHOP players are on Banana. There is no more smokes to isolate. That one's the last one there. The flash goes through. Brett's gone in, but Fady shuts him down. Swisher's holding the line.
He's got
Swan can't peek. Swan has no vision. He has to take a shot, but it's diffused. He will connect onto one, but Swisher's repositioned over towards first oranges. Swan will not reaggress, and ATK rob BHOP at the last second of a round. And I see your facial expression, John. I second the combination of confusion and pain.
Yeah, no, honestly, the advantage was definitely BHOP's to be had. The problem is they had both players at Banana, meaning that the smoke and the util that came through from ATK isolated both players and put them in such a bad spot. And once ATK realized what was going on, well, of course, you're going to stick to defusal, and Swan had to wait for the smoke to diffuse, and at the end of the day, he didn't have time because the smoke was still up for way too long, and once it faded, eventually he gets one, but it's not nearly in time. Mistim is going to take down Silas, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. BHOP need to be winning those ones, especially after they came out with a very nice half-buy victory, and now they've already lost 2 players in the early going.
And last round, they also had the double entry towards Banana, towards B. They had a wide open B site.
Yeah, it was a nice play by Silas.
They got gifted that round, and they threw it all away. And ATK get bailed out, because that was a round they gave to BHOP on a plate. They served it to them, they took it to their table, and said, "We hope you enjoy your meal," and ended up getting a whole meal comped, essentially. It was insane how that worked. Beaky, Brett's gonna sit in the flames and burn down to 1, but he got the kill to bring it to a 3v3. Missed him still here, though. He is a strong holder, but he's only able to finish off the wounded Brett. Beaky traded back, though. Nice blind spray by Fady through the smoke and through the flashbang. Swan gets the bomb down to dirt, but there's a flank coming in. Banana, and Bowden will take his time, go back for the op. ATK will start to stabilize here, although their economy is still going to be in a very rough spot. BHOP continuing to get the bomb down means they can continue to buy. And you know what's weird? When the team that's won the last 2 rounds in a row has a far less money coming to this round than the team that has lost the last 2 rounds in a row.
Yeah. But ATK still happy at least to be able to take that round. And I love that bait from Fady, spamming through the smoke. And he obviously, it doesn't feel like bait in the moment because you're throwing a nade, you're trying to spam through, and Swan buys it hook, line, and sinker because he figures he's just trying to get the spam. Maybe the other player's with him. Unfortunately for Swan, the flank was coming through, and Bowden had one of the easiest kills that you've probably seen so far here in this match. Bowden gonna come out. There's the peek and the frag. Silas goes down. They're trying to get the trade immediately here, but Swisher spamming through the smoke will delay them a little bit. They are gonna get back to control, and luckily for Bowden, he gets away. Not only that, he finds one, and Fady supports him for the third frag on the round here for ATK. Bowden on the 2K still has 3 HP, and that's more than enough with the AK, but they don't realize Brett slipped through into our side. He gets one and only one. Fady good for the trade. All up to Swan again. He's staring into mini pit, back and forth, doesn't know where to look, and does indeed find the frag onto Fady. Bomb on his back. Might be able to get a plant out of this, but he wants one more frag before putting the bomb to dirt here.
He's jumping up on Haycard. He's going for the fight against Bowden, who legs him. Now they're both wounded, but Swan hits the second shot, and he might have just spotted him at the crossing, but missed him. Comes the lane side, and down goes the op of BHOP. No bomb plant either, so their money in a bit more of an awkward spot. Brett's going to hero AK here, but he can still buy up in the next rounds. It's going to be pistols, presumably, to support. Perhaps a Mac 10 for Swan, although I want to see him on the op because he's doing a lot of work for this BHOP side right now. He's having a very good T side of Inferno, and actually BHOP are going to go all in. They're going to go for the rifles, the Galil, and the utility. It's actually pretty solid, so this buy is a very good one considering the circumstances. ATK, though, still not really out of the economic woods. Missed him dropping that Molotov. It's going to get pushed, though, and that's something that BHOP have been able to do really well is get that early banana control, getting that damage, and half the time they get a pick or two out of it, too. So, yeah, they do a really good job of countering that utility by just going fast.
Ooh, the flashbang didn't hit the mark there for ATK, and MOTM peeked out into 3 rifles, which he couldn't do much against because all 3 had visibility on him. Ends up going down. Still, the HP situation's a little bit tough here for BHOP, in particular Eris, down to 10. The thing is, ATK only have 4 players. Now Swisher is going to get naded to half health. He is at least supported quite heavily here at the B site. The thing is, BHOP have to come in this direction for this stack to pay off. Fady trying to slip through from window, but Eros was watching, and now so much space opened up towards A. BHOP have the time to rotate as well. They just have to be careful they don't get caught by Swisher, who could push through the smoke at a very opportune time. He absolutely does. They have no idea. So if he comes out in towards mid, he could have himself a 3K and flip this round right on its head, but the timing has to be perfect, and it is. They're lining up utility. There's 1, 2, looking for the third, potentially no, but that really has helped as Bowden finds the quick scope onto Brett through the wall. Silas trades it out, but it's a 2v2 and only 28 seconds left to get this bomb planted.
And both ATK players coming through brackets as well. That won't necessarily be anticipated by BHOP. They still have to get the bomb down. They're spraying away, clearing out the site. It's going to go down under Cold Zero box. Swisher's going to go over towards Moto. Missed him, might join him as well. Molotov to wall off Swisher for now. He's looking for an entry. He's looking for an opener. Has a smoke. Missed him with a flash. And the health is actually rather equivalent. Swisher swings and somehow wins that duel. Only gets hit once by Silas. Eris and Minipit, though, with a huge role to fulfill, has to clutch this one out. Do they hard clear him? They have to know he's somewhere towards mid or apt. He's sprayed away. He gets swung by Mistum. And ATK will grab the half at the very least, grabbing an 8th. And it feels like they just find a way to win rounds when they shouldn't have a chance.
Swisher's
and that's what's keeping them in the lead here.
Yeah, absolutely. Swisher's been so good on the retakes there. He gets a 3K on the round, wins the duel. I think it was with Silas or Eris. Either way, he should not have won that duel because he's coming around the corner into the crosshair of Silas and ends up, for whatever reason, winning. Silas had the opportunity to punish. I mean, it was some good peeks from Swisher, full credit, but afterwards he plays onto that site, ducks down as soon as he's fired upon, and then can't be finished off, giving away the position of the last BHOP player, and of course missed him. Wrapped it up with a pretty bow. So ATK, speaking of wrapping up things with a pretty bow, they've already taken this half, 8-4, looking to make it even better in these last 3. But BHOP with the full loss bonus will be able to get 3 AKs, a Galil, and the AWP thanks to that bomb plant.
Thanks indeed to that bomb plant, they're able to buy up again. Swan still top fragging for BHOP, doing a very good job this game so far. Could definitely expect a better performance from on the CT side too, which is a bit of a scary thought for ATK. But Brett takes the worst of the opening duels. Mistum will get naded down though, so the opening pick goes the way of BHOP again. Something we have seen several times now. They have gotten the opening pick. Brett. A lot of apps control, but here's the thing for BHOP. They have all the control. They have A control, they have B control. They can go wherever. And, ooh, the flower boost comes through. It's going to be a bit of a coin flip as to what's the better site to take. Although there is much less utility here on B.
Yeah, they have the smokes here on BHOP. MOTM's just playing right on in the open. He's trying to catch them off guard. Likely will for one, but probably only one. No, he gets that first, then backs away through the smoke. What a great play. Then throws the flashbang to help support Swisher. Swisher finds Eris. Now Silas and Swan are trying to work in, but all of a sudden, that man advantage has disappeared, and they're down a man versus ATK. Swisher boosts up in the flower pots again, trying to do more damage, but can't. They're watching for it this time. Thing is, Silas and Brett are on notice. Good news is, ATK doesn't have any util. The bad news is that they're facing off against 3 rifles, which will be able to take them down with only a couple of hits. Swan waiting patiently. Brett is good for 1 onto Fady, and Brett gets a second on Bowden. You gotta be kidding me. Brett only 10 HP, finally gets traded out here, but he might have made this round winnable here for BHOP. Swisher.
Most assuredly has.
Yeah, and Silas is gonna go take down Swisher, and that's it, Austin. He has won the round for them. What a play by Brett.
And I think MOTM's dead too, whether it's the bomb or the Silas. He's gone. Yeah. And look at the money for ATK. Bowden and MOTM have some. 1,400 for Fady, 2,000 for Mistum, 2,800 for Swisher. This should be a 6th round for BHOP. And a lot of this comes down to ATK doing the same aggressive plays over and over again, which BHOP are just reading. That B defense was something that BHOP hadn't seen before, and that's why it worked in the initial part. But then Brett decides he's just going to go with 10 HP and take out 2 players, and it works. I feel like BHOP honestly should be in the lead right now.
It's weird, isn't it? It feels like you're right. They have had so many advantages round after round. It's just that ATK, a couple of rounds, stealing things away on the retake, but... yeah, BHOP have been pretty solid here against ATK, perhaps surprising ATK a little bit. Silas gets 1 and a second. This is the second time he's done this towards Banana with those 2 frags, and now he's going to switch over to the A1S. Missed him by his lonesome at the B site. Will get cleaned out as well by Beaky. Wow, and it's only Bowden and Fade left at this point. They might just save.
They should just save. Save the M4 because you're going to be broke going into round 15. You have to save this if you are ATK. And Bowden's probing for an exit. This is a very dangerous game where he will very quickly become the hunted. Even if he gets 1 gun, the likelihood he's able to retrieve it, it's not that high. And at least Fady has upgraded his weapon from a Deagle to a Mac 10. Well, do I even call it an upgrade at that point?
I mean, it's something to help them in the next round because their money's kind of bad. But, and when I say kind of bad, I mean disastrous going into the last round of play here in the first half. It would have probably not even been as good as a Mac 10 if he didn't pick that up. So, hey, look, it's something. Going to drop that for his teammate so he can upgrade himself to an MP9. Jeez, what happened to ATK? BHOP really tearing through them now on their T side, and ATK typically, I believe, better on their CT side than T side here on Inferno. Just double checking those stats here, Austin.
Yeah, you'd be correct. Significantly.
Yeah, like 63. This is
46.
Unusual, to say the least.
The way they've played it, though, it's kind of a shock that BHOP don't have more rounds. Because ATK are taking very aggressive fights against multiple people, just going 1 at a time. And even when they have double peaked, it's not like it has been the most advantageous situation to do so. A lot of it is this banana car fight, which has favored ATK maybe once out of 5 or 6 times they've tried.
And again.
And there it goes again. Opening pick to BHOP without taking all too much damage in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, Beaky does step into a Molotov for a little too long. That seems to have been a bit of a problem for him towards that B site throughout this half, but he's still alive. That's the important part. Brett knows that someone is here, Arch. All those bullets ricocheting off the wall. And now has tucked himself into Cubby. This could catch Bowden off guard. I don't know if he'll be expecting it. Now he does, because he peeks around the corner and gets back to cover without taking any damage. That'll trigger Fady to potentially peek with an MP9, and he does a lot of damage as well, but he's unable to find a frag. It's a 4v2, and now, a 5v2 in favor of a BHOP. Beaky, wow, is going to get a headshot. This is pretty hectic.
And, well, for Swisher and Mistum, there's not much they can really hope to do. There's low HP players, but there's no retake utility. There's no kit. Well, there is a kit down on side, actually. That does give them a bit of an option. But to get these entries onto the A side, it's going to be so hard. Beaky's very low. He's just getting tapped. They're going to go for a boost over the smoke, but Silas is in an angle where he can reach his auto-run boost, and Beaky and Swan will get the last two. It's going to be a nice, easy way to finish off the half for BHOP, and we'll see you guys for half number 2 in just a little bit.
Somehow live in a moment in time where I was yours and you were mine. 'Cause when I'm alone I get lost in my head, and I try to think back to the things that you said. But living without you is taking a toll. Feel like I might lose control. When I'm down and can't push through, I know you're the one I can turn to. You make me feel like someone new, 'cause I'm never sober when I'm with you. Secret.
Well, BHOP, they started off great, had a bit of a midway slump, but they were able to pull it back and bring it to an 8-7 half on the T side of Inferno. So things are looking pretty good for the BHOP boys right now. It's Boggs and JRT on the call.
Yes.
And it's ATK's turn to go on the attack. But BHOP, it might be a bit of a stretch to say they have ATK on the ropes. But
Yeah.
despite being down, BHOP looked to be the better team.
I think ATK just, one, they're very fatigued right now because they've been playing Counter-Strike pretty much every single day since they got to Philadelphia with one day off, and they got back home and they were playing Challenger League every night, even last night. And now I think that 2 matches last night, in fact, and now
Yeah,
they're
they
jumping
did.
right into this qualifier. So there's a lot of CS being played by ATK, and you're going to see the first frag come through here for BHOP. That is likely a factor, and of course, they probably feel like they're the better team coming into this one, and BHOP's proving that they shouldn't be taken too lightly.
Yeah, it's... oh, that's a nice shot from Peaky. It's a great shot from Peaky onto MOTM, and he's just going to retreat and let them get the plant, which is a bit of an issue because the plant on the T side means a full buy in the next. Not like a full buy with AKs, but you can get Galils, you can get Mac 10s, Deagles, and utility. It means a very strong buy. Now Mistom's adding a couple of kills, at least one of his account. Bowden's sitting up on top of Warren. He will be killed nicely. That's a really good job by Eris and Dual Berettas. Good parting gift by Swisher, but Eris will say, hey Swish, my dualies are better, and he'll pick up 3 on the dual elites. BHOP will win both pistols in this map. A scary situation for ATK to be in. They almost assuredly need to win the force buy here this next round to keep BHOP from exploding up towards the stratosphere in this map.
Yeah, I mean, we do say it's scary right now for ATK on Inferno, which I agree with you, Austin. But overall in this BO3, talking about the maps available, I shouldn't say the maps available, the maps were selected. So Mirage being picked by ATK, which is an incredibly good map for them. I think they have a significant advantage against BHOP there. And Ancient, same thing. So I think for BHOP to even have a chance at winning this BO3, they must take Inferno. Otherwise, ATK will likely sweep this one away from them. So it's very good that they're up to 8 and even tied up right now. The thing is, ATK got that bomb plant, and when the T side gets bomb plant round number 1, their vibes usually pretty even heading into the second one, and that is the case here. 2 Galils, an AK, a Mac 10, and a Deagle up against pretty much the same thing on BHOP, except trade the Deagle for the FAMAS.
Now, would I rather have a Deagle or FAMAS?
Honestly, I would never. I'm not a FAMAS enjoyer, let's say.
Yeah, neither am I. Although I probably would rather have the FAMAS just because I could spray things down if I need to.
Yeah,
Bowden
I don't know.
got sprayed down, so
He did. 2
it's
and
a
8
good start for BHOP. Oh, this is so telegraphed. Too. Look at the rotations. 2 extra players coming in towards A. ATK are running into a trap here, and it is not going to look too good. Well, actually, never mind. Swan's just blind on sight. That'll be a good opening. Eris has dropped down at a pit, but he's picked up one, and Brett has found another. Beaky strikes on the Swisher, so it's all down to Mistom, who had a huge round 4 in the first half. He's going to need a huge one here.
Oh,
He gets
no!
a lineup. They line up for him. He's a one-shot, though, and this is a dangerous spot. Eris creeping around. It's going to come down to timing. Eris hits the shot, and that is it for ATK in this round. Mistom tried what he could. He got a bit of a gift, but he couldn't take it all the way home to the bank.
Yeah, he caught them trying to set up for the double peak, and wow, just a great spray down by Mist. And the thing is, BHOP should have never given him the opportunity to get that type of situation. And even though he does go down the 1v1, BHOP have to spend so much money just to get that round victory. And you're seeing here, reinvesting, and it will be up against only pistols, which is the good news for them. But should they lose more bodies here, their economy on CT side will start off in a very rough spot here in the early goings of the second half. Good news for them is Beaky Wow is going to spray down MOTM trying to be cheeky up Banana. And that gives them the early 5v4 and Banana control for the most part. I think Silas might want to try pushing up here. It certainly wouldn't be a bad idea, but I don't know if he has the util to guys his vents. Oh yeah, he has the smoke. He could push up to logs if he wanted to. Or perhaps even hug that smoke.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea to go to aggressive. The only thing is, since he's the only guy on B, it's probably better to play a little more of a early warning system, which is exactly what he's doing. Finding contact and then just falling away, trying to buy time for rotations. Brett's going to come back and join him, and the utility has been burned down very significantly on both sides. BHOP limited to a flash, a smoke, and a molly. And ATK with just a smoke and a flash at this point. Silas might have a gap, but Mistim's gone over that on the sandbag. Swisher has crossed as well. An opportunity now perhaps for ATK. The flash is perfect, and Brett and Silas are both removed.
Wow.
Bomb's going to go down. There's gun upgrades for ATK. This is now a very advantageous round for the T side for BHOP. Oh, baby. Things are getting bad. They're waving the white flag.
I mean, they have to. What a hit from ATK, using every last bit of utility as efficiently as possible. And those two frags just come so instantaneously that BHOP doesn't really have a chance to react to what happened. And they're on the outside looking in before they even know it. Bomb is planted and they call for the save, as they absolutely should. What a play by ATK. Already talked about that fragile economy. It gets even worse now because they lose the round and only carry 2 guns over into the next. So ATK are far from out of this half. They get the gun upgrades, as you mentioned, Austin, so they won't have to invest as much into this next round. Wow. It's the same story as BHOP in that first half, right? When they came out with a light buy and a round victory. So we'll see if ATK, as opposed to BHOP, who lost the following round, can pull off a couple in a row here.
Except here's the thing. That round following for BHOP was a solid buy.
Yeah,
Or rather
that's
for
true.
ATK. It was a solid buy. It wasn't dual Berettas, double MP9s, a Deacon, and M4.
Yeah.
With reset scenario looking at you.
Yeah.
This is a huge opportunity
Honestly,
for ATK.
I guess I understand why they go for the force buy, but man, the economy's so rough here if they lose the round. Brett just pushing up mid. He's going to get one, but he's flashed to Kingdom Come, and Bowden gets the insta headshot as soon as he comes around that corner. So it will be a 4v3. Swan is exposed. Toss a nade on forward, but Fady dodges it just barely, I believe. So he will stay alive, and Swan falls back towards Pit, but this round, I mean, I like the idea for BHOP, but what I didn't like is the fact they invested so heavily into the round given the circumstances. I guess they figured, well, it's a double save anyway, so we don't really have to worry about the force buy, but still, you really do need to get that economic footing, especially since I feel like their economy has been a little bit mismanaged in the early goings.
Yeah, it's been a little rough so far, but a lot of that goes to ATK, and they're looking at the chip damage. Silas gets a free kill, though, as Fady drops down blinded. Dual Berettas for Swan on top of boxes as Silas move. The Dualies will find 1.5 damage onto Bowden. It's a 2v1, a winnable 2v1 here for Beaky, as he has a kit as well to work with, and the bomb finally going down. So a lot of opportunity here for young Beaky on BHOP, but Swisher's on the angle, and Bowden's taking a safer spot. They know where Beaky is now. There's an opportunity for ATK to both double swing him here. Beaky's just doing chip damage, though, without really taking any. Finally, he goes down, and he will eat the war of attrition. And ATK will grab a lead back again.
A really good setup.
That was dangerous.
It was, but I think the setup was good because they had 2 players up on top of the boxes, peeking around the corner with Swisher, with 1 player tucked in on boost spots. So at the end of the day, the odds of Swisher going down in that position up against what they knew was probably an MP9 or a FAMAS at most, not too bad. I like the idea, and of course, once Swisher gets the spot, they have all the information they could possibly want, and ATK takes the round. So there's the 10th. The problem is, as I mentioned, the economy for BHOP is catastrophic. They will go for the full-on stack towards B. At least 4 players there, 1 lurking to A. That is only Silas with nothing but a USP. So if ATK decides to go A, this round is over. If they go B, maybe there's a chance for BHOP to pull something off. Smoke going to get tossed here for ATK to perhaps fake a push to B. Frags here would certainly help, and they spotted a player. More than that, actually, for the BHOP side, as they take down MOTM. Mistim finds the trade, but he has to get that A1S out of there. He is going to keep trying to hunt for frags. This is dangerous. They can lose the AK and the A1S, and they will. Both players drop. There is some space gained towards A, but they don't have the bomb on their backs. They have to retreat to go and grab it, and look at the guns. They're already in the hands of Swan and Brett. As far as I'm concerned, that is mission accomplished for BHOP. They don't really have to take any more fights, but there's also not a reason not to go for those fights. They could try and spot out a player here, potentially at Arch, but I think they've realized that ATK have found their foothold here, and the odds of success with the body armor and very, very limited util, only the smoke, are very low. So they're just going to save. It's the right call.
It's a great call because they get free guns out of it.
Yes.
That's just exactly what they needed. It's exactly what the doctor ordered for them. They're getting a couple they're getting an M4 and an AK even better into the next round. A smoke as well is going to be a little bit less utility to buy up in the next round. But for BHOP, they got gifted 2 kills. They got gifted 2 kills.
Absolutely.
And BHOP has done a really good job of not looking a gift horse in the mouth, not questioning it, just saying thank you and making great use of what's given to them. Even going back to the last half, where they were gifted opportunities, where they did a good job of converting those. I do like the idea of trying to hunt this year for ATK. They do have the money, and taking out these guns is a lot more valuable than the player surviving, but they don't go all in. They just do a little bit of spray damage. But they are now only 5 rounds away from taking the map pick of BHOP and going into Mirage. But seeing how well BHOP has been performing on an individual level against ATK, Mirage doesn't seem like a foregone conclusion to me anymore.
This feels like the ATK of, I would say, a year ago, before Swisher and Bowden were part of this roster, and Mistim and Fady typically were the ones top fracking, right? And
Yeah,
Mistim.
Mango.
Yeah, yes, Mango, you're right. Wow, I forgot about Mango. It's been so long. But yeah, 20 frags for Mistim, and then you have 17 for Fady. Swisher, of course, pulling his weight at 18 frags in second. But yeah, it's been a very nice performance from ATK in the fragging department. The thing is, there have been a lot of ill-timed pushes, and there's another one from MOTM, who's usually so solid, right, on both the entries and the defensive end, but here he has just fallen silent.
Swan's in a dangerous spot. In the lineup. Swan's gone down. So is Ayres. A beautiful double entry from Fady Outdoor Apartments. He makes long haul his home. Brett sprays away, but Fady will counter. Return to sender unlocked. A save call from Ayres, or from Silas and Beaky. And BHOP are going to go down 12-9. Now, there's no way they attempt this retake, nor should they.
No.
But Fady, what an opening kill. He's usually the lurker, too, for ATK.
He's doing a lot more than lurking. I can tell you that right now. You're absolutely right, Austin. And 20 frags for him. Silas does manage to take down Bowden, and as you mentioned before, no reason for ATK not to hunt, with 3 players on 6k plus and flirting with 7k in the case of Fady and Bowden. So, you know, Beaky has an opportunity to upgrade, but getting these frags would be so punishing against BHOP. And their economy continues to be really rough here, Austin.
Wonders of the CT side in Counter-Strike, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's still impressive that the game is still CT-sided, even though the CT side has one of the worst economies ever imagined.
I mean, it's obviously intentional, right? Because of the huge advantage you have just sitting and waiting for players to come into your crosshairs as opposed to having to take the fights.
Yeah, and that's why the CT economy is awful.
Well, I mean, look, they had the, I think, $2,900 loss bonus, a couple players on 2K there, so they are able to at least get a respectable buy up here with full util on 4 of the 5 players. Swan doesn't have util, and he's actually on a glass cannon.
Ooh.
So that could be a risk here for BHOP, but he wants to try and get the big green in play, and I can't really blame him. They need something to light a spark. Get this half going, because since the pistol round, there hasn't really been much.
Swan was really good in the first half, so I'm liking to see the op on his hands in the second. But Silas is going to get the opener boost over the half wall. That'll be a nice opening pick for BHOP to play with, and they'll also bolster the A defenses now. Although Swan is to be very careful not to get caught. That op in his hands, such a valuable point, such a valuable weapon. And Silas and Logs, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, this the Molotov. Perfectly timed. I'm surprised Bowden doesn't take a little more tick out of that. He's just gonna, there it goes. Molly spreads are definitely interesting, but Beaky and Silas in a great 1-2 punch. Beaky's just off. Silas will get sprayed down, and there's Fady and Swisher to double entry this B side. That's the bomb down at the very least.
Yes.
But the health, that's a problem.
The health is a problem. I don't think they have a smoke thrown, and they don't have time to throw it. They realized how quickly Swan's going to get around. Fady gets dropped here, and I think he was the one with that smoke. No, he wasn't. MOTM had it, and MOTM threw it, but Fady just peaked a little bit too early. And now, a much more winnable situation for BHOP. You already talked about the health, and it's a very significant advantage now. Swisher, this angle, could yield him one? No, nothing. Brett is going to drop him. MOTM has to pull off the heroics in a 1v3. They are closing the distance quickly. He has to realize they're coming. There's one. Oh, he flicks around to try and find the second towards CT, but he didn't realize Ayres was also over at Coffins. That will be the round picked up by BHOP at a very important time, because they needed to find their economic footing in. I mean, they do lose 3 players, but those 2 have very solid rifles in the AK and the BHOP, so they'll be able to drop things around, work things out, some clever accounting, and the rifles will be purchased up here. For ATK, they still had a very strong economy though, Austin, so they'll be okay, but a timeout isn't a bad idea to call.
It's a very good idea. I mean, they have 4 timeouts to use and a maximum of 8 rounds to go, so
Yeah.
you might as well use every timeout available to you. They could use a timeout every other round if they wanted to for the rest of the half. So for ATK, it's just you have it available. You want to settle things down a little bit because BHOP are doing a lot of damage to you. You're getting picked off early. A lot of how it was happening on that first half where ATK were losing a player or two in the early going, especially towards Banana.
Yep.
Except now BHOP's doing it on the CT side with more cheeky plays, a little like a boost up over half wall, or something that's not full committing to the Banana aggression, which still enables the players to back away without taking much damage. BHOP is doing a really good job of managing those opening picks. Let's see what they can do now with the op in hand for Bowden up against Swan, who has purchased a bomber this time. Silas behind the smoke, eats a nade, and will not overstay his welcome. ATK don't want to really go too aggressive down Banana as well. If they had Jonji, it would probably be a different story, but they don't, so they're playing this one a lot more conservatively. MOTM through the edge of the smoke. It's a free kill for Silas, and there it goes. No trade back for ATK, as they're much more content to get a lot more overall map control than just forcing a lot of pressure towards one side or the other.
He's found a lot of space actually here towards bracket. Fade's going to push out and no one is here. Swisher, in fact, is the first one to gain that space, and Fade decides to stay in the apartments, but ATK could very well punish your Ante. Thing is, there are 3 BHOP players waiting here, but here comes the flashbang. Eris not really blinded, should be able to get one. There is a better one. Fady throwing that, I believe, as Mistim finds one. Another one flies through. Excellent utility here from the ATK side, and now it's all up to Swan, Silas, and BKWow, and they are going to save. They're falling back. They realize the money is in such a bad spot, and the util just isn't there for them. ATK have taken a 13th with a picture-perfect execute onto A.
Save Simulator 2022.
That's Inferno.
I guess it would actually be technically 2016, because that's when Inferno released.
Yeah, I mean, Inferno's always been a map where saves have been important, though.
Yeah, it has. Because the utility is so important. You need utility.
Yeah, the A site in particular, A site used to be a little more closed, in fact, with that rooftop that used to be there before Inferno. Like, we're talking 6 years ago right now, but, or more than that, in fact. It's been
It's like
so
7
long.
plus.
Yeah. Oh, well, okay. They're going to save there in pit. Yeah, if bomb is planted towards back of site, it's still viable to save in pit. But as I was saying, yeah, A site's always been really tough to retake on the CT side. And there's just so many angles you have to clear that if you don't have the util and you don't have the manpower, there's just very little chance of pulling it off. And in a man disadvantage situation, you are much better off saving and trying again in the following round than just throwing away your guns.
Yeah, it's a lot better to save and try again than throw away the... Obviously, if you're up against 15, then you go for it, but other than that, there's no real reason to. And we'll see another timeout used here by BHOP, trying to talk things over and fix what went wrong. Swan can add a couple pieces of utility to his belt, and he will do so. So really only Eris and Brett will lack anything, and Eris could technically get a second flashbang too if he wants.
Yeah.
Probably wants an HE though. That's why he hasn't purchased a flash.
Yeah.
Worth having though at this point.
I think technically Swan could drop a flashbang and buy an HE here if he wanted to, but
You're right.
he's not going to go for that. And it will be BHOP heavily stacking Banana, and for good reason. You already kind of mentioned it there, Austin, but they've been very solid taking Banana control, but this time ATK are ready! The mortars fly in, Molotov from MOTM takes down BKWow, and luckily here for BHOP, they do find a trade through the smoke. Silas spotting out MOTM, but the utility continues to run on in. Missim's not giving up this space, he gets one, maybe the second, no! Brett is going to drop him, but the numbers are even. I would say that's the advantage of ATK, because only one player on the B site. If ATK keep pushing here, they have the util and the wherewithal to take this B site pretty cleanly, with BHOP not adjusting. They're expecting a rotation to come back to the A site because they are leaving what is Brett with only 28 HP to his own devices on the B site. Eventually, you have to imagine they're going to rotate here, Austin. We'll have to wait until that moment arrives, though.
Well, ATK have gone by the alarm system of Eris, too. He could have heard them running up banana, but they're too far forward now. They're going to send Swan over to rotate, especially as the utility rains. And that's going to be a big sign of what's going to happen. Oh, that Molotov is so good. And if Swan doesn't get a kill here fast, you have to imagine it's another save from BHOP. Although they do have a pincer with Eris, they do have kits. And quite a bit of time. It all comes down to whether or not they can get that first pick, and there's the gift. Swisher behind the car wall. Swan peeking out. Doesn't clear out new box yet. They don't have any clearing utility. No nades, no mollies. The opposite dark has revealed itself at Eris domes Bowden. There's a smoke now onto Fady's position, and he's stuck. They know where he is. He rotates around, but Eris is waiting. And BHOP survive to fight another round. They put this one up and close the gap to 2. And they've grabbed double ops as well. Blessing and a curse the double op. And Beaky's going to hold on to the secondary. All right.
That's actually a really good retake from BHOP. I mean, I thought throwing the smoke would be a little bit risky onto Fady because it could play to his advantage, but because they had both players watching so intently on both sides of it, at the end of the day, BHOP were able to clean it up pretty well. Wow. So I thought ATK would have the edge with how effectively they took that B site, throwing the Molotovs in, and the one player there, Brett, didn't have the smoke to defuse it and really know where to go. But it's BHOP taking 11th. Will it be an isolated round victory is the question. Swan gets 2 with the Molotov. Swisher and MTM trying to push up and gain the space arch side. It's their undoing. A man advantage for BHOP, and now the rotations come through for ATK. They are good for the response to even out the numbers, but it's back and forth here as Brett is looking to wrangle this A site in his control, but it's not going to be easy. The smoke fade in his favor. He gets 1, but only 1, and the trade is good from his teammates, but it's also good from Bowden. Pandemonium on the A site in the first 40 seconds, and it is now a 1v1 op versus AK. Beaky has the util to work with. He's waiting for a plant to come through, but Bowden is not going to plant that bomb at A. He could rotate all the way around to the B site, and in fact, could catch BQWow completely off guard.
He's on the right move. He could even just book it to B2, and
Absolutely.
that actually seems to be the case. He's assumed the rotation from Beaky has come, who actually, ironically, has Bowden's op. So, a little bit of personal blood in the game here for Bowden now. But he's going to get the free plant on B. How does he play the post plant is a big question, though. Because Beaky eventually is going to go for the rotation. There's no way Beaky doesn't go for this one-on-one. He might pick up on M4, though. Yeah, he'll go for the M4. If there's an AK on the way, he'll swap to that. But it looks like he's going to be stuck on the A1S. He's got a molly, a flash, and a smoke, and Bowden's gone banana.
Yeah,
boy.
He's got to try with this util set. He can smoke off banana, which is probably the worst position Bowden can have taken at this point. Assuming Beaky decides to throw the smoke, maybe just doesn't want to give away his position, but time is ticking away. Eventually has to go. There's the smoke. So advantage briefly to BQWow, but time is ticking away. I don't think he'll be able to defuse this under the nose of Bowden. He absolutely will not. Bowden flash and all, it didn't matter. Already had the shot lined up, and ATK take a 14th with every single player in the round dropping to the ground. But ATK doesn't care. They've got the money to rebuy into this one, Austin, and they also are now 2 rounds away from stealing away BHOP's map pick.
2 rounds, another timeout used by BHOP. But this time they're going to have to rely on a broken bye unless they want to play for overtime. They're within striking distance. Playing for OT here is not a bad call. In fact, it's probably the prudent one. Beaky's bought armor, though. Oh, man.
Huh.
They're going to go all in, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. I don't know how I feel about that.
I both love this and I hate it at the same time. It's like, I love the aggressive call here, and at the same time, it's like, but you can get a full buy if you save.
I mean, there are
But
two.
it's Inferno.
There are 2 schools of thought, right? You either force up and you try to keep them off that 15th round and prevent overtime from being secured from ATK, or you say, you know what? They're probably going to get the 15th anyway. Let's just get a light buy through and try to steal one through. And more often than not, I find statistically it's probably better to just give him that 15th, or at least in your minds, give him that 15th and just stick with the pistols and hope that those pistols can do something on a stack or something like that. But in this situation, you lose the round, you're done in the next one. You've got pretty much nothing. The loss bonus is only 2,400, and there's MOTM taking down Silas. 5v4 already for ATK, and they're not going to stop pushing up here. Let's see if they can find themselves a second. They do. Maybe the third. No, Brett is good for the 2k. That will help immensely. The thing is, ATK is going to rotate around and try to take the space on A, but Brett has done that by himself, and there are two players waiting here. Swan with the swag 7 gets one, and now he picks up an AK, realizes Swisher's around the corner as Swisher taps away with the AK, and Swisher gets caught in a crossfire. This has paid off for BHOP. Only Bowden left standing, and I have to sit here eating my words, Austin, because, wow, BHOP really did a fantastic job. It's not over yet, but, I mean, it feels like it with Brett standing on his head to get that 2k with, of all things, the FAMAS.
How much FAMAS slander can we get in today? But I second that. It's like, yeah, hero play is made by Brett with a FAMAS, who might just have a reskin of an M4 on there, because that didn't play like a FAMAS. That played like an actual viable gun. Brett did a really good job of winning both of those kills. And then Swan in the apartments with a mag. Just, that's the beauty of Inferno, right? The shotguns, the lesser weapons, they can shine. And Swan's going to get an op out of it too. So he gets the money, he gets an op, he gets the mag 7 kill. Brett's going to be like, all right, boys, we got this. And
what a round.
What a round indeed. That early banana double pig was just so good for ATK, and then Brett cancels it all out. And that's why I loved that call. It's like there's the potential for something great.
Look, I mean, sometimes you have to make the riskier play. You have to go against the odds and go for that force buy. And for BHOP, wow, they get the 12th. They stun ATK, who now have to look at their money and say, whoa, 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 what the heck just happened here? We lost that round. Really shouldn't have up against that force buy, which was not featuring that much. But just BHOP had the right timing in every situation. Brett swinging around the corner with the FAMAS. Swan waiting in apps with the swag 7, which is a great place to play it because you get a very quick close-range engagement in that situation. And ATK were stunned. So they're going to jump into this, and they are now going to force up 14-12. They are still not content with saving and giving BHOP a freebie here. It's going to be 3 Tech 9s, the P250, and the AK. So missed them. Likely going to be an important piece here. We'll see what ATK has in them as they're going to likely try to take this space towards window. 2 players going to be jumping up there, making a lot of noise. They want BHOP to react to this noise and open up some space towards mid, but instead a Molotov comes through and BHOP back off to take more passive angles at A.
They should have enough to stop this regardless. They have 3 players here. The smokes are going to be down, but it really all comes down to if a gun can be upgraded for free for ATK. If they can get another rifle, they can win the round. Eris is in a very good spot to shut it all down. Brett will spray down 1 and towards apartments. Mistum will get the trade back, and Swan goes 1 for 1, but Eris drops the bomb out of pit. Has a smoke to play around as well. Swisher has an op and will use the sidearm wisely. And it really comes down to what Eris can do in pit now. If Swisher gets the angle, he goes back the other direction. He has to know Eris is somewhere around here, though. He has to know Eris is in pit. And he's on the bike now, too. Such a free angle for Swisher. Has he heard the drop? I think he has, but it's all down to Swisher now. Spots out Eris, and he's got the first. He has to know Beaky's nearby as well. Takes a tap with a Tech 9 and creeps onto the site. Beaky drops the utility, but Swisher will get the bomb down. That's a little bit of cash extra for ATK, but he wants the round. He wants more than just a plant. And up in towards apartments he goes. The timing should avail him. And he will tuck in, expecting Beaky to have gone through boiler. But Beaky's gone the other way. He's gone up lane. The op could stick out. It is not really necessarily planted for the op either.
No, it's not.
But I don't think Beaky realizes that. He's like, oh, there's no way he's going to be playing apartments, right? He's got to be playing around brackets now, or on the site. And it's mind games from Swisher. And he gets the timing! He's heard the shot! And Swisher pulls it off!
What?
It's a force spy for ATK that wins the round this time. That's the last guy you'd expect on an op on this ATK roster to clutch the 1v2.
Unbelievable work from ATK coming through there. I think Bowden was a key piece too, right? Because so much was happening towards the A side. He says, no. This is not what we need to worry about. We have to make sure the players from Arch don't rotate in and catch us off guard. So let's try and get that frag if they potentially throw utility, and that's exactly what happens. He catches a player throwing utility, takes him down with the Tech 9, upgrades to an AK, and opens up that space for Swisher to work through Graveyard. And there was so long the players were next to each other, both Graveyard and Pit, and eventually Swisher gets the edge. Now we have an early fight here with BHOP trying to engage at alt mid, and it's going to be ATK gaining the advantage. Bowden finds the second in the round, 4v3, so much space towards that B site. But man, oh man, I love that big brain play by Swisher, planting the bomb in a position where, of course, I think it was Beaky at the end, didn't know where to look, and hiding in the apartments and waiting for him to show his back, trying to clear another angle was so brilliant. Beaky's going to block a smoke here with his body to try and give himself a bit of an edge here, but only a deagle, and it's good enough for a headshot onto Swisher, who was the bomb carrier. MOTM trying to find Beaky. This round is suddenly in doubt.
It's another fluctuating round, which gives BHOP an opportunity to bring this one closer to overtime. Mistim's in a very exposed position. Same with MOTM. They're in a very aggressive angle. The flashbang not good enough. Eris and Beaky are there for it. Mistim taps away, trying to hit the headshot, but he can't. He goes for the spray and loses it too. Bowden with a no-scope, out to the knife, and down to the ground. 6 feet under. We're not done. BHOP have picked up a 13th, and they keep 3 alive. They'll be able to upgrade at least 1 to an AK as well. Bomb plant going to keep ATK at least somewhat viable buy-wise. But we're going into round 29 now, where this one is anyone's game, and if the trend continues, ATK are going to win this with Glocks and a P250 at this rate.
I mean, since round 22, neither team has won 2 rounds in a row. Back and forth, back and forth. We're on a roller coaster ride here, folks, and it's likely going to come down to the 30th round because ATK have said, nope, we are not investing into this one. It's just going to be 3 Glocks, 2 P250s, a little bit of util to give them some space to try and find the bomb plant. But if they win this one, I mean, I'll be at a loss for words, honestly. MOTM going to wait for that util to get tossed on forward. Nastack is through, and Beaky riskily pushes through that smoke, but it's Silas to support him. They get both frags, and ATK is just going to run to the guns at this point. They're going to hope to get something, and really nothing's going to happen. Missed him, 1 frag, 27 HP, bomb on his back, and an AK picked up, but he's surrounded, and this round is likely over. So we are going to go to a 30th, unless Mistim is insane right now and does what is likely only a 1% chance of success, finding all 4 of these frags. But Austin, I mean, wow, this has been, there it is, Swan gets Mistim. This has been a crazy map of Inferno. Honestly didn't expect BHOP to be contesting this tightly.
Yeah, no, this has been a really good performance from BHOP, and if this is a trend that we're going to continue seeing them grow more and more like this, it's a great sign for the team and for the region too, because BHOP, they showed a little bit of promise towards the end of last season, but then lost a couple key players, and
yeah,
it was like, all right, what are they going to do now? But it seems they filled the gaps really well. Swan has also come alive, and it's another good thing to see, because he was always kind of seen as a weak point on the Bad News Bears roster.
Right.
And here, he's been a very impactful player. Was huge on the T side, has had his big moments on the CT side as well. And it's not like he's been an op crutch. He's been able to use the rifle effectively. He's been able to use the op to good effect. And he's been a very good thorn on the side of ATK and has had the better of Bowden on a couple of occasions too. So for BHOP, it feels like all the pieces are coming together. And if anything, they're actually stronger than they were with their peak with Stan and CXEL.
Yeah, and they had Spermian Delta 9 at one point, right? It was a lot of very strong players coming through for the BHOP side, but it didn't work out. Now they've got a ragtag group that have seen ECL experience before, not necessarily found the success they were hoping for. You talk about Swan, and man, if you want to look at a player to admire who's on the grind and continually tries to push forward despite struggling to find the success at the ECL level, you need to look no further than Swan. And I think that for someone who's so dedicated to the game and continues to try and push forward and find himself in position to compete in ECL, eventually he's going to have his moment where he starts to shine. And he's definitely progressed in such a big way since he first debuted in ECL with the intact roster with Sheikh Zula back in the day. That was a long time ago. But either way, Eris is going to get the opener here. Beaky's going to get flushed, but he gets 2! And the 3rd comes through from Silas. It is only Bowden left standing. Overtime looming. Bowden needs to get the ace to pull it off. He's probably not going to do that. This one is going to be headed to overtime. BHOP have pulled it back. They deny ATK here. And, well, we're going to need more than 30, Austin, to determine a winner.
Yes, we are. So, folks, we're going to hit that overtime break, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes to see who's going to take Inferno here between ATK and BHOP.
I'm out of focus, I need a spark. I can't keep living in the dark. Nothing feels right, my thoughts are unclear. I just wish that you were here. 'Cause when I'm alone, I get lost in my head. And I try to think back to the things that you said. But living without you is taking a toll. Feel like I might lose control. When I'm down and can't push through, I know you're the one I can turn to. You make me feel like someone new. 'Cause I'm never sober when I'm with you. Cause I'm never sober when I'm with you. When I'm down and can't push through, I know you're the one I can turn to. You make me feel like someone new. Cause I'm never sober when I'm with you. I couldn't imagine where we would be now. I wish we could somehow live in a moment in time where I was yours and you were mine. 'Cause when I'm alone, I get lost in my head. And I try to think back to the things that you said. But living without you is taking a toll. Feel like I might lose control. When I'm down and can't push through, I know you're the one I can turn to. You make me feel like someone new. 'Cause I'm never sober when I'm with you. Cause I'm never sober when I'm with you. When I'm down and can't push through, I know you're the one I can turn to. You make me feel like someone new. 'Cause I'm never sober when I'm with you.
I know you're scared sometimes. Don't know if you're wrong or right. You've been doing
30 rounds were not enough to separate ATK and BHOP, so we find ourselves in overtime here in the ESL Challenger Rotterdam North American Closed Qualifier. I'm Boggs, joined by JRT, and folks, this one has been bizarre.
Yes.
There's been a lot of weird rounds that have gone both ways. Up until the end, it was eco rounds for like 4 of the last 6 that were able to work. And now we go to MR3, $12,500 overtime.
It's a ATK fumbling the ball, so to speak, a little more often than BHOP. But BHOP, credit to them, have been capitalizing on every single opportunity they're given. I think it goes back to that 3v3. I think it was 15-12 in favor of ATK. They were about to close it out, and they couldn't fend off anyone on BHOP in a 3v3 attempted retake, and just got taken down way too cleanly. So, here we are now into overtime. Brett waiting in cubby. BHOP 3 players here towards A, and ATK taking their time, trying to get their util on point. Brett Could be a thorn in their side, but Swisher's expecting it. That's why he throws that util in that position to get the audio cue, forces the smoke out. Swan's trying to support and ensure that his player doesn't get cleaned out, and that won't really help. Swisher through the smoke connects onto Brett's dome, and Swan fires a blind shot through the smoke, but it's not really going to do much. He just wants to reposition into library. But now the A site is extremely vulnerable. Swan going to get blinded. Now he's desperately trying to fall back again. But the space is being gained. He's now the last one standing, and no longer ATK take the A site in a clinical fashion. And that will be the round.
Save here from BHOP, as it is not MR316K, so they need to save what they can. Not to mention 2v5 A site retake is probably not going to work. I don't think I've ever seen that work before. So
no, I mean, I prefer the 12.5K OT, honestly, over
too.
16K, because 16K just, it doesn't leave as much room for strategy and risk taking, right? There's really not many risks. You can go for the retake every single time, and there's nothing you have to worry about in your buy on CT side. So this way, they do have to go for the save and make sure that their economy stays healthy.
yeah, it's a lot more balanced this way, but Silas will fall down, so there's the lack of a save there. He should still be fine going into the third and final round of the first half, but for ATK, they've already won the first on the T side. That's a good start.
Yep.
If they can win 2, that puts them in the driver's seat to take this map. If they're able to win 3, then it should be GG. Keyword should, and what should happen has not necessarily been the tale of the tape throughout today's match.
Not at all.
But Mirage is next, folks. This is map 1 of the first best of 3 of the night, so buckle up, stay tuned, grab yourselves a snack and maybe a monster, and just chill out and get ready to watch this one. As Swan's got the opening pick towards long haul. Fady can't lurk there this time, and there's a good start for BHOP. They finally get the opener. Did not get that the last round, and that'll give them a lot better of a chance to defend. Swan misses the second shot out towards Arches, though. That opens up some space. The flash is there, but look at the positioning. Oh, Swisher's not ready for Brett to come back in. And why would you? Why would you expect somebody rotating in towards A from B at that point in time? The pincer's gone, and there's 3 players here on the B side to defend. This does not bode well for ATK.
All right. Here comes the util from BHOP trying to fend off the push from ATK. 53 seconds left. MOTM, the audio cues. Oh my goodness. Stepping in the Molotov not once but 3 times. Bowden does find the trade and more. He gets Brett through the smoke. Missed him. Spots out Beaky Wow, and BHOP this time. The team that looked like they were in control just crumble in the waning moments of this round, allowing the bomb plant to come through for ATK and leaving Swan and Eris scratching their heads thinking, how the heck did it come down to this? What a shot from Bowden, of course, through the smoke after finding the first, and missed him as well supporting. But Swan does get the first here in the post plant. 2v1 advantage. Bowden has to peek and get the 1v1s. They probably know where he is. They turn their back, but he misses onto Eris, and that should be it. It is indeed. Swan takes him down with the pistol. Plenty of time for the defusal, and BHOP tied up at 16-16.
16 all, but an arrow won by Swan almost single-handedly. Really good work from him from the opener to the ender. And that'll keep things tied, moving into the last round of the first half of overtime. It is first to 19, folks, here in OT1. If we do go to overtime 2, it is first to 22.
Yes.
And then first to 25. And then et cetera, et cetera. Just keep adding 3. It's basically how it works. But Swan's going aggressive and towards all. That's a great opener again from him. And I'm loving this new look from Swan. This is like this is like Swan in advanced on Intact.
I find that Swan performs better on teams where he's not paired up with Shake as IGL. I mean, Shake worked with him. I have nothing against Shake. I think that he's a great IGL, but I think Swan just doesn't thrive under him at the ECL level. Before that he did, but anyway, look, Fady's going to get a trade here, but Brett should have Swisher dead to rights, and he absolutely does. So it's a 4v3 in favor of BHOP, but I'm thinking back to his time with Detonate, right? Before he went back to the Bad News Bears, he was looking very solid with the AWP and then joined BNB to try and fill the gaps. And that didn't go well, as we know, as the team pretty much disbanded and reformed around Pluto and Momo. Either way, let's get back to the action here. Eris is going to get one, and MOTM trades it out, so still the man advantage in favor of BHOP. Fading MOTM giving away their position, but Eris gets the audio cue by stepping into the Molotov, and he goes down to MOTM. So another 2v2. Not a post plant yet, though, Austin, but it will be very, very shortly.
That Molotov clearing out a lot of space for BHOP, giving them information where to expect the players to come from. Fady somehow still alive and kicking, but that smoke's going to also isolate some duels. Another Molotov there for Silas and MO. Oh, it's going to go around to Fady. He's dead. Wait, how is he alive?
No way Fady slips away.
He's a Fade. He's a ghost. And he's won it. How?
They had 12 HP combined, I think, at the end of that.
Yes.
Oh,
How?
man. I don't know. I don't know how Fady slips through there. There were so many bullets raining on forward from the A1S, not to mention the Molotov that was threatening him, but he gets through the smoke and repositions himself, not to mention MOTM found a frag before that, so it's a 2v1. Even though they're so low on HP, they still have the advantage with the player coming through the smoke in their direction, and ATK do manage to take 2 rounds in the first half of the first overtime. Now, they are poised to potentially take this one. Need 2 more rounds, and we're on to map 2.
2 rounds is all it takes, but getting an actual map victory has proven to be a lot more difficult for both of these two teams. They both have their opportunities and their advantages. BHOP down behind the 8 ball again. Not to say that this isn't still a good spot for them to be in. I feel like BHOP still can win this one by winning 3 straight rounds on this T side. It's an awkward spot, nonetheless, for both teams. I think more so for ATK to find themselves in overtime here on map 1 than it is for BHOP. For BHOP, it's like, all right, we're doing all right here. We can win this one. Let's just go ahead and close it out. ATK have a little more expectation coming into this, and they do get the opening kill, which is always a good start. But MOTM is holding a very aggressive angle still. He's able to get a second. Oh, Bowden gets timinged out towards bedroom, and Fady will not trade. He's expecting more players to come through here. He does get backstabbed into a 3v3. And what was a good double opening from MOTM has devolved into a 3v3 situation, making it a 3v2 as Swisher gets swung by Eris, just walking out balcony.
Why?
He's claimed the A site, and ATK concede.
It's so... I don't know why ATK are pushing up there and in such aggressive positions to allow BHOP to even get those frags. Eris gets a 3K. I mean, again, credit to Eris. He did a really good job. Not to mention that peek from balcony, but... just been so weird the way ATK has played, both defensively and offensively here on Inferno. Some questionable decision making, and a round that looked like it should have been a sure thing with 2 opening frags ends up being them saving on the B site and BHOP finding a 17th.
And as I said, very legitimate chance BHOP can win this half and win the map thereby.
Yeah.
It's a very, very precarious spot for ATK. BHOP kind of has ATK right where they want him. BHOP should have won more rounds on their T side out of that first half. They somehow didn't. And this is kind of where BHOP has had the bulk of their sustained success. The CT side was a little more scrappy. T side is where they really were able to bully ATK in a sense. And with everyone fragging relatively evenly too for BHOP, it's not like there's a weak link. Everyone's able to show up in time. And this aggressive banana hold is the same thing we saw in that first half, John. And missed him, grabs him. They have 3 ops.
Wow.
I mean, they have 3 ops.
It's working so far. There is a nade toss that connects onto Beaky, and yeah, the triple op coming through from ATK. Not often you see that because it doesn't really work very well if you're in a retake situation. Anyway, Eris is going to take the head off of Bowden. And then Brett finds Fady. The A site has so many holes right now for ATK, even though they're consistently finding the opening frag here on their CT side in overtime. They just cannot lock the site down. Now they have 3 flashes of smoke and a Molotov. Plenty of money to buy up next round, so you've got to go for this one. There's no reason not to. Missed him. Going to be moving through the apartments. Eris waiting in mini pit. Brett's in pit. Good setup here to deny Mistim, but Mistim's going to toss that Molotov. Gives away his position. Brett wide swings him, trying to get the fight, and he does. Eris finds Swisher. It's over. MOTM will just save the AWP, and BHOP are on for map point.
Map point after staving off potential map point with a half buy. Going back, I believe it was round 26. BHOP have done a marvelous job of keeping themselves in this game and really out-thinking ATK in a lot of situations. They are very close to pulling this map into their favor. Mirage is up next as well, which, considering it's Mirage, cannot necessarily be called a bastion for anybody. This series is completely up in the air if BHOP are able to win this map.
Yeah, I mean, I think ATK are just a very strong Mirage team, but if, I don't know, probably be a lot more comfortable on Mirage. I don't think we'll see the similar type of play that we've seen here on Inferno. Not over, of course. ATK could still come out with this round and send us to double overtime, but they have certainly not instilled confidence, I think, in themselves and their fans, of course. It's been a shaky one. BHOP, on the other hand, like you mentioned, everyone performing well. Four of the 5 players above 20 frags. In fact, 2 of them flirting with 30. Eris at 29, Brett at 27. So we'll see if they seal this one up. Certainly a very good opportunity for them to take this BO3 and send ATK to the lower bracket.
Yeah, where they play the loser of Nouns Team 1. Not so sure how that match is going on. I know Team 1 won the first map, but not so sure about Nouns' pick. The A-take is on, though. Fady behind a smoke that will get extinguished in the Molotov will get extinguished in that smoke. Swisher goes 1 for 1. Actually, MOTM die. Fady has come up big with a double from Pit. He swings out for the third. And OT2 looking very, very likely, unless Beaky has something to wow us with in a 1v4. The bomb sitting on the floor. And Bowden coming in for more. Missed him. Not going to peek it just yet. But Bowden might swing out with the op. Goes down to Beaky. And a 1v3 is a lot more winnable than a 1v4. This is starting to get a little dicey here for ATK. And there's still a time being the enemy of Beaky a little bit. But even if he gets another kill or 2 out of this, it's more than probably should have been. Okay, there we go. OT number 2. John, I'm going to give you a blanket question here.
Yeah.
What the heck is going on?
ATK is getting sloppy in so many ways, and BHOP's just, again, capitalizing on every single mistake ATK is making. There are a lot of them. Even in that round, the 1v4. You're in a 1v4. Bowden does not need to peek from library. All he needs to do is tuck himself in and wait for the player to come there. They had bomb control as well. And he peeks, and he goes down and gives an opening. That doesn't need to be given at all in that situation. So, look, we'll see how it goes down, but ATK have not played up to their level here in this match so far. I think that's something we can all agree on.
Yep.
And BHOP are punishing them time and time again.
Yeah, BHOP have done a really good job of punishing, haven't they?
Yeah, and the thing is, look, again, I get it, fatigue. They've been playing a lot of Counter-Strike, but we'll see if they can close this one out.
That's good utility bracket holding by MOTM.
Yes.
He'll burn Silas to a little itty-bitty crisp. And he won't go down either. He's tempering his aggression, and they've actually swapped up a decent amount over towards the B side. Bowden's playing there quite consistently. It's no longer Mistim and MOTM, but they go aggressive again on Banana and lose that player again on Banana. And there's a free pick for Swan. MOTM backs right into the scope. Swisher, he's got the ult to do now from balcony. Utility's going to rain in. Does not fight yet. Now he sprays down the bomb. Swan's going to try and trade no scope onto Swisher. And Fady now in the pit, in big pit. He taps away as Swan burns down. The bomb on site. And 45 seconds to go. Brett up on top of Graveyard. His head will show. And Bowden has come through to save the day. Beaky 1v2. He can't get the first, and ATK will win the first of their CT half.
Well, there you go. Good job by ATK shutting things down there. But BHOP, the opening, Swan is playing like his hair is on fire right now. And he gets that no scope and jumps down. Then he was literally on fire, of course, jumping through the Molotov and just couldn't find the player. Maybe a little bit too antsy to try and find another target in that situation. But you can't really blame them. BHOP have been so very good at taking control of the A site, capitalizing on ATK, who can't really seem to hold on. They play really passively there, and BHOP are just winning the fights on the peaks. Anyway, ATK did take that round. Now look at the utility damage down Banana. ATK responding in a very good way in this follow-up round. They're trying to take 2 in a row on their CT side and potentially get a stranglehold here on this map.
That would definitely be a trendsetter here, but then again, nothing has really been consistent throughout the course of today. The only thing that's been consistent is inconsistency. So, even if ATK are able to win 2 out of 3 here, I don't know if you can necessarily say they have too much of an advantage, because BHOP have been able to claw their way back from literally having no money.
Yeah.
So, they're almost a bit of a honey badger moment, where they just are able to survive everything. And ATK have not been able to counter that. They've not been able to snuff out BHOP. You let a team hang around long enough, they will snuff you out. That's a good one from MOTM. There's a lot more that needs to be done.
Oh, Swisher and MOTM get a couple of frags here. It's all up to Swan and ATK. Now, potentially another clean round coming through, and it is. Fady takes down Swan, and that will be that. ATK are up to 20. We are 38 rounds deep into Inferno, and ATK are looking to get a clean sweep in the first half of the second OT. Missed him, along with Fady, up to 31 and 32 frags respectively. Over on the other end for BHOP, every single player at 20 plus frags. The only one who cracked 30, though, was Eris at 30 and 23. That will all be a moot point for BHOP, though, should they lose this map. After what has been a very heroic effort to even bring them to this point, because I believe, yeah, it was 3 opportunities for ATK to close out this map, up 15 to 12. Just slipping through their fingers.
Like sand, or I guess more like water. Can't really grasp water, can you? Sand, at least you'll get some stuck on you. That's why Anakin Skywalker didn't like sand. It's rough, of course, and irritating. Gets everywhere. And Bowden, he's going to eat that nade and stick around for more. Gets blinded and just backs away without firing a shot. Doesn't need to reveal his position, nor the fact that he presumably would have eaten that nade. If he would have let that one go, they would have known that. Look at this position from Eris. Up all the way through brackets. MOTM is revealing his own position, and Eris will swing out wide. Get the headshot and get the pincer on towards B initiated here. Good flashbang. Bowden doesn't take the shot, and Beaky will finish him off. Missed him, has to hold. He has to anchor. He's got a lineup for 2. Swan comes through, and he will bring it to a 3v2. But Swisher and Fady are going to be on for the rotation. All 3 remaining BHOP players on site. The op of Swan to post up on Newbox. And not a lot of utility to make this retake happen. It's a rough spot for ATK and for BHOP. A bit of saving grace out of this round.
Swisher manages to get past here construction, and Eris is trying to hold this angle, but, well, it's not really going to matter too much. Swan gets Fady. Swisher will go down to Brett, and BHOP pull off the round. Good job by them to stay in it, hang in there, and at least make the second half of the second overtime a lot more interesting, picking up that 1. Eris, I mean, not usually the player that is looked towards to get the entry frags, has been so very good with them, particularly on that A site. It's usually Silas and Brett. In fact, 22% of the time for both of them. They have been going for entries over the last 3 months, and Eris is behind them, but 5% less at 17.4% of attempts. But this time, he has been their catalyst. He's keeping them in this.
Yeah, he's been really good. Phenomenal. Missed him, going to charge up Banana, though. Blinded out, and Silas should take him down. Does indeed. Good opening kill. No secondary frag just yet. That nade could do it though. MOTM down to 7 HP. Eris to 27. And down goes MOTM as well. 2 quick picks to the side of BHOP. Fady tries to return one. Does indeed manage that kill. But more needs to be done here. Bowden, only good for 1. Goes for a very aggressive peek with an op and only gets 1 out of that. And ATK are down a man. They don't have a sight. They're isolated from each other. And Swisher's chilling out in the smoke, waiting for Fady to join him.
I mean, Silas.
He knows now.
Yeah. He will get isolated, so good smoke's thrown by ATK. Probably a plant coming through. Silas is not going to fight this. He doesn't really have to. He's got reinforcements coming through, and I believe they're going to try and send 1 player from each angle. 1 from Coffins, 1 from CT, and 1 from Banana. No! Swan decides against it. He says, I don't think I can get there in time, so I'm going to come support this push instead, and they do have a lot of util now. Swan picking it up that was dropped him over at spawn, so he's got a couple of flashes at his disposal, spreading the wealth here, but Swisher pushes up with a counter flower pot boost! What a play from Swisher to get the 3K! Brilliant from ATK! Fady just saying, jump on my head, go on those flower pots, and find the frags. BHOP had no idea. I love it.
What a play coming out from Swisher and Fady to save the day. Gets him another map point here on ATK. And, man, who expects a counter flower pots boost? No one.
It's so unlikely, Austin. I can't believe they even did it, but you know what? Credit to them. Take the fight finally. Enforce your will. That's what Brett's going to do here, and he gets 1, and so does Swan, and Eris drops Fady. So again, even though ATK get a really nice finish to that round, BHOP are going to get a 4v2 advantage here and miss them. And MOTM with only, what is it, 119 HP combined now? They have a pretty tough task. So credit to BHOP for, again, not giving up on the aggression. And now they've backed off, and they're just tucked into the sites. They don't have to do anything. They can wait for ATK to come to them, Austin.
Yeah, and I think BHOP have a flower pots boost this time.
Hmm.
Hey, that was a good idea. We're going to use it now. How it's normally used in the defensive fashion. And it works. Actually, it was not a flower pots boost. That was just a boost
just regular
around
boost.
the corner, which don't see that all too often either, and I like the call. I like how both teams have been innovating, although BHOP have had a lot more of those innovated boost holds. They've been taking a little more risk with that, and it's worked out quite well. And there's a blindside kill for Eris and MOTM, who doesn't clear the full angle. And a chance for BHOP to stay alive again, which has been a theme here.
Yeah, it's going to be the 5th map point if they win it that they've staved off. I don't know.
It might be 6, actually. I don't know.
Possibly, yeah. We'd have to go back and count and see the regulation. But look, suffice to say, ATK cannot finish them off. You're just struggling here. Despite some heroic efforts, I mean, the early round was 3 frags that came through in the first 20 seconds, so it was pretty much over before it even started there. As we're in the final round of the 2nd overtime. ATK wins, we're headed to Mirage, finally. If BHOP wins, we got a 3rd OT.
If BHOP wins and we get a 3rd OT, questions really need to be asked for both sides, because both sides have had their opportunities to win. ATK have had more so than BHOP, but BHOP have had their chances too.
Yeah.
And you can't say starting on the CT side was a boost, because ATK has won 2 rounds to kick off each overtime, 1 on the CT side, 1 on the T side. BHOP have been battling from behind pretty consistently here. And no early B aggression from BHOP. They decide to turtle up on site, mixing up that defense a little bit, although Brett can get aggressive over towards A. And this is a bit of a risky play. Bowden never takes those shots while blind. And I feel like BHOP are really picking up on that, because they do a lot of these peeks with the flashes against positions where an op is likely to hold. They stick around a little
Wrong
longer.
read. Yeah.
What?
Look, BHOP were absolutely convinced the hit was coming towards the B site. They started rotating to B, everyone heading in that direction. Eris wasn't even clearing lane. He just started walking towards site, and that was his undoing. So finally, ATK getting to pounce on a blunder here from the BHOP side, and they have 3 players coming through from mid. It's not over. They still have a chance coming back here, and the utility is there. Swan with Silas and BQWow by his side, pushing on through. MOTM has a prime spot to punish her, gets mollied out, but it's Swisher to get one trade, comes through. Only Swan left standing, but MOTM and Fady are low. He's trying to pick up a rifle and does, but finally Fady with, I believe, the 4K in that round, pulls it off. ATK take map 1, but what a ride it was.